Hey everyone, it's Kate at Finding Cooper's Voice. I hope everyone's having a great Sunday. I'm going to talk about a sad topic again today. I'm on that downward turn on the autism roller coaster, and I really like to talk about the struggles and the hard parts that go into raising a disabled child. Because when my son was first diagnosed, I didn't know anyone that had an autistic kid, and I would search the internet late at night and I would try and find blogs and I would try and find kids that reminded me of Cooper. And I'd be searching for 4-year-old nonverbal, 4-year-old not potty trained, 4-year-old extremely rigid. And I couldn't find any kids like Cooper. And I internalized every single hard part of the grief that comes when a child is first diagnosed. And I'm very open about how it did some real damage to me and to my marriage at the time. I became a martyr. I um, I didn't know what to do because I was looking around at all my friends and family that had babies the exact same age, and they were meeting milestones and talking and playing games with me and interacting and going to Disney on Ice and T-ball, and I was at home, frozen in time, turning down invitations and not sleeping. And my son was on this decline, and I couldn't figure out why I was so sad and why this was so hard because no one was saying to me, girl, this is hard stuff. And that did some damage. So when I started this video blog, I made it my mission to talk about the hard times that go into this. And I always do my disclaimers. It doesn't mean we love our children any less. My son is amazing. But yesterday we visited a very public place. We went and saw Thomas the Train, and then we had a family reunion. And on the car ride home, Cooper had the meltdown that I knew was coming from all the activity and little sugar and whatever. It doesn't, we'll fix all that. But he had to be restrained for quite some time. He did some real damage to me and to our car and to his brother, and we got home and we were just depleted. It Watching your child in distress so severe that they injure themselves and the people around them is depleting. I feel like I ran a marathon. You're just wondering, do I shower, go to bed, drink wine, take a shot of Fireball, cry, start a fight, leave the house? Like, what do you do to come back from that? And it takes me about 24 hours to come back from a severe autistic meltdown. It takes Cooper about 24 hours too. He just has to regulate. He has to pull himself back together. And I want to talk a little bit about acceptance, because I think when people talk about acceptance, they're talking about things like accepting that your child has a diagnosis, accepting the word autism, accepting not talking. And when your kiddo is first diagnosed, those are the huge mountains that you have to climb. I remember thinking, I don't know any kid that doesn't talk. None. I'm like, there's no way that Cooper will never speak. He's going to say mom. He's going to start talking. And maybe someday he will, but I, as a human that was going through this world, had to accept that Cooper might never talk. So I did that. It took me 6 years. I had to accept that he might, all the might nots. And that's a journey. That's what we're doing as parents. And each time you miss a milestone, it's like a little band-aid's being ripped off. It's like, it's not always the huge thing. Sometimes it's these tiny little things. And it hurts. It's your child losing a tooth and not knowing. It's going to a family reunion, your kid doesn't even know that anyone's there, let alone that they're family. It's that they can't sit at a table and they can't eat any of the food there and they can't play any of the games for the kids. It's little stings, little cuts. And I don't know if those ever heal fully, but I've learned to get used to the sting. I really have. I have thick skin and I prepare. And my expectations are set so low. When we went to Thomas yesterday, I had a pep talk with Cooper's dad and we said, we're doing this for him. It's his favorite event. We're going to get through it. We're going to focus 100% on him. We're going to make sure he has a good time. And that's where the bar is set. The bar is set with 6 meltdowns, but getting out of there without anyone getting hurt. I mean, the bar is set so low, and that's part of the acceptance. You have to realize that you might not have any huge victories anymore. Your victories are just surviving. That's part of acceptance. And I'm learning now that I'm at what I think is even a harder part. And I thought accepting that my kid might not talk or might live with me forever was going to be the hardest part of the day. The hardest part for me now is accepting why it's so hard. And there's no answer to why it's so hard. When he was diagnosed, I firmly believed this was going to get better. If you knew me in real life, I'm an optimist. I'm always smiling. I wake up every day happy. I'm rarely sad. And I raise my son up on my shoulders every day, and I'm going to fight for him and give him the best life. And then when you have an exceptionally hard day, yeah, that sucks. But what sucks is knowing that it's going to be that way again tomorrow and next week and next month. And you try to walk that fine line of hope and think, this is going to get better. We're going to get through this. It's going to get better. But you don't know if it's going to get better. I don't know if this is going to get easier. So this morning, Jamie, my son's dad, and I were sitting having a cup of coffee, and we were chatting about autism. And I want people that are outside the autistic world, Cooper's our kid. Like, we don't sit around and talk about how hard autism is. We don't do that. We just live it. Cooper's Cooper. He's our son. He's not our autistic son. He's our son. And I told Jamie, I'm really struggling. And he said, I'm really struggling too. And we talked about the forever. And we talked about what marriage and did to our friendships. We talked about never leaving the house. And, you know, we kind of jumped into the future and we thought, how do we do this when he's 30 and 40? And maybe it'll get better, but maybe it won't. And we're walking that fine line between keeping up hope and accepting what the reality could be. And I will always tell you that starting to talk about the reality is a huge step in your acceptance journey. Hope is great. Start talking reality. And it's so sad, and it's so hard, and it's so lonely because no one else understands what we're going through. They see us at these events and they see me sitting on the ground with my 70-pound son, bear hugging him so he doesn't hurt himself, and I'm focused on him, and we get up and we go to the next thing, and then 10 minutes later he's on dad's shoulders hitting dad in the head. And people see it for just a few minutes and they'll say things like, I don't know how you do it, you're so strong, you guys are fighters, and you're giving that kid the best life ever, and that kid was given to you for a reason. All the things that people say when they don't know what to say, and it's great. It's great. But when we get home and we're sitting here and we're looking at each other as a mom and a dad, and we just say, how are we going to fight this fight for the rest of our lives? I hope I don't get flamed for this. You just seeing your kids struggle and knowing that it's going to be hard forever. I feel that weight on my shoulders all the time. I feel like it's weighing me down. And then, as we were drinking our coffee, we talked about we'll just do more things separate. If I'm sad, I have to go to the house more. And if Jamie's sad, he has to go to the gym more. And we have to get Sawyer out, and we have to just, and it's like when we're here, we're frozen in this bubble. And to get out of that, to get out of the chaos, one of us has to leave. I didn't know that this was going to be my life. I didn't know. I didn't know that I was going to, no one knows, but when we were told the words autism, I was like, we got this. This is going to be fine. And we're at the point in the journey where we really don't know if it's going to be fine emotionally. I mean, we'll give Cooper the best life. We'll keep him happy and safe and healthy, and we'll make the best decisions for him. But our sanity and our happiness and it's a lot of sadness. Huge hugs to everyone. I hope everyone is kind when you comment on this. I believe that we should be able to say that raising a kid with a disability came as a shock. And it's not something you just wake up and are fine with the next day. And I don't know if it's going to get any easier. But I will keep talking to you. I will keep telling you what our family is going through. We will keep trying. We're not going to give up. But when these people send me these late night frantic emails asking me if it's going to get easier, I don't know. I don't know. It's the hardest part about autism. It's not the huge milestones. It's the little teeny things. Have a good day, everyone. I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.